We're live, pal.
We are live. Welcome back to another episode of CCW Insider. And I am with Executive Director Nelio Costa. And I know you have some news that you want to share right off the bat. So go for it.
What was that? The shows are happening. Is that the news?
That's the news. The shows are happening.
Lucie, Friday. I know everyone's out there. We're really worried about a lot of guys out there in Orlando and in some of those areas that were affected by the hurricane. We're just really glad that it moved away from South Florida. I was never allowed to skip school as a kid, ever. I wanted to a lot. So I was always the idiot at the end of the year who got that award, perfect attendance. And I felt like such a nerd. I was never really a nerd. I mean, some of the people listening at home probably knew me back then. They probably thought I was a nerd, but I was never a nerd, but I always had that perfect attendance because I'm really weird about that. But I think consistency is key. We don't want to cancel shows. We have a lot of tickets sold for the shows this weekend, and I have a lot of people really happy that we're still going to do it. And there might be an issue with some talent. There's some talent that is unable to make it via aeroplane, and maybe there's potentially some. I haven't even really. I haven't gotten any cancellations yet, but potentially people who live in the Tampa area that are going to be affected, which would suck. But it's part of life. The show will go on, and we still wish the best for everybody, talent and fans and otherwise.
So I wanted to ask, how are you faring with the hurricane? Any updates on your end?
It was fine. It missed South Florida in its entirety. Pompano Beach was kind of crazy. There was a tornado. I grew up in the Midwest, so it was cool to have a tornado warning in South Florida. It was interesting. It wasn't cool because I'm sure someone's house got the roof knocked off, but it was an interesting, it's always, there's this like a nervous energy that goes into the hurricanes where everyone's just going to the store and grabbing shit off the shelves and doing all that type of stuff. But it worked out okay. Actually we trained here. Gangrel ran class every single night. That we didn't skip a beat because the hurricane luckily moved away from us. And then you up on the Treasure Coast got a little bit of rain, right?
Not much. We did get rain one night, but for the most part, it was pretty dry. We got the winds and stuff last night, maybe 60-mile-per-hour winds, but otherwise, we didn't have any rain after, yesterday or I think going into the day before we did. But yeah, it was kind of weird. It was kind of weird in that regard.
Yeah. We do have one cancellation. There was a match is changing. Unfortunately, Sky Blue is with All Elite Wrestling. Her flight was coming into Orlando, so that was canceled. We have been scrambling to get Kylan and let's all make history, baby. I hate when I can't see who it is.
I know.
5-6 inches at the most. I don't know what that's referring to, but I'm excited. See, you stopped me during my. Unfortunately, her flight was coming through Orlando. We were trying to scramble to get her down here. We're going to do it on another date. So Sky Blue will not be in Port St. Lucie tomorrow. But it was kind of the shocking return of Marina Tucker. We were going to make it a surprise. She was going to return to wrestle Ashley Diamboise, also a regular in All Elite Wrestling. So we're just going to make it a triple threat for the CCW Women's title. It's Marina Tucker versus Ashley Diamboise versus the mother effing king, Kylan King. Kylan, this will be her 19th title defense, 242 days or something with the CCW Women's title. And this is the first time Marina has had an opportunity to wrestle her for almost 200 days. So it should be exciting.
Yeah, incredible breaking news announcement yesterday with the Marina Tucker match versus Ashley Diamboise. And then today,
it broke the internet, Ryan.
I know.
People were
today,
you sent out the talking email about the hurricane for a few minutes.
Right.
Talk about that return. No,
yeah.
It is a big return, and it was really cool that we needed to put it out there. We wanted to put it out there.
Absolutely. So I guess in terms of the going back to the hurricane for a second, have you heard anything about the venues that you run, like anything with up in Kissimmee?
All good.
How they do? They're all good.
All good. Kissimmee, we're really lucky. Old Town is encapsulated. I mean, it's still going on, but Old Town is encapsulated. The Sun on the Beach is a nice, and then some of our other venues. I haven't really spoken to anybody else, but Kissimmee is good. And then Port St. Lucie, the roads are clear. It's a beautiful day. It's sunny. It's not even raining today, so we're really excited about tomorrow.
Absolutely. I did want to just note that if people wanted to, if they were concerned about people here in Florida, they can go to volunteerflorida.org/donate. That's where you can contribute to help the cleanup and stuff like that.
Go there and just put, $50, $100, 1,000. I mean,
Whatever.
everyone watching at home is tons of disposable income, but anything that you can give can help. I'm sure there's going to be some displaced people. Weather is a crazy thing, man. It's one of those things like human beings, no matter what we do, we're never going to be able to control a hurricane probably, It's one of those existential thoughts, scary thoughts, but.
So as far as all the talent is good to go. There's been nobody.
Yep. Nobody is canceled or anything. Nobody is. I know Controversial Inc. had a lot of issues because they live up there in Tampa and Orlando. Johnny Nova, obviously, they were under a lot. Marina and Eric, all under a lot of distress, with the weather. But everybody, for the most part, made it through. Everything is good. I have some properties up in Tampa, Ryan. That was okay too. So
okay.
I'm happy with everything. And Chad, Chad, he hangs the lights. He has like a ranch out there in Ocala. Some fences got knocked down or whatever. So
okay,
everyone good. Everybody good.
That's good. All right, so we talked about it a little bit. Destiny awaits tomorrow. You already talked about the big news that broke yesterday with Marina Tucker. Triple threat match for the women's championship. Kylan King versus Marina Tucker versus Ashley.
I want to say this. Sometimes when a show like sometimes adversity is the best thing for a show. Like sometimes some of the best shows are done when we had a hurricane watch or a hurricane warning in Bash of the Brew, I think like 4 months ago, or must have been longer than that because it was maybe, but we had, 300, 400 people there who were all excited to be there. And it was rainy as hell in the morning, but the show was amazing. It was like a really cool, interesting event. And there was just some, there's an underlying interesting stress. There's something to it when you have, outside forces messing with the show. So, let's see what we can put together. When your back's against the wall, sometimes it's when you can do your best stuff. Do you ever wait until like 3 a.m. to do your class project for the next day? And it's like 11 pages and you just hit this groove, you hit this flow where you do your paper, and it's, could have been, maybe it was better if you'd have started 2 weeks ago, but there's some sort of like nervous energy that exists within that paper that wouldn't exist otherwise.
The other analogy is you've got the whole paper written, but you didn't hit save, and now you're screwed.
Right.
Like the computer crashed. And that's kind of like what you have to deal with sometimes when Guy Blue can't make it to the show. Now you got to rewrite the paper. Right.
Well, we don't write anything. It's professional wrestling. We just go out there and fight each other. But with our backs against the wall, it's where you sometimes can find your best stuff. So maybe that'll happen this weekend. But again, our backs aren't even up against the wall because Hialeah is clear. It was completely clear. Miami was very clear. There was some rain, and then which it rains every day in Miami anyway. And then Port St. Lucie was the worry, and I think we're out of the woods. So
absolutely,
let's enjoy ourselves.
100%. So Ariel Levy, he's got a pair of title defenses, assuming he gets through the first one. But he's got Ozzy Killmeister tomorrow.
Yeah, that's gonna be the one that I'm really, really interested in. Ozzy has been Ozzy's hometown is in Port St. Lucie. He's been on a tear. He's been busting his ass. And this is a well-deserved title shot in front of what will be a lot of people. I'm excited to see it. Ariel Levy is who he is. Like you said, if he can survive Ozzy Killmeister, he'll wrestle Ricky Martinez at Mr. 305 in Hialeah. If Ozzy is successful in the at Destiny Awaits, it'll be a triple threat match officially. Ozzy is wrestling Daisy Kill otherwise at Bash of the Brew. If he's unable to win the title, Daisy will wrestle someone else, probably Meadow. If Ozzy
so you said it's going to be a triple threat, so it'd be Ariel, Ozzy, and Ricky.
Mr. 305.
Okay. Not Daisy Kill getting inserted into the.
No, what has Daisy Kill done to deserve a title shot, Ryan? What are you doing here? You're always pitching.
Because you said the triple threat, so I wanted to make sure which match was getting.
It'll be a triple threat.
Okay. Elevated Status defending against the Crown tomorrow. We had a comment come in here. Hopefully a huge win for the Crown. Somebody, Facebook user, is looking for.
I want to find out who these people are because I'm pretty sure that's from the brother of the Crown. No,
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Let's see. Can't wait for the. I'll just Facebook user. Yeah, the Crown have come in like a hurricane, if you will. They're undefeated in their return. They moved down here to Florida. They're on a bunch of our shows, and Elevated Status are overmatched physically, but that ERA has been doing this for like 15 years, and he's like 28 or something like that. He started in Rusty Brooks's backyard, so he's an OG. So he has the experience, and you know what, Johnny Nova, I'm pretty sure he's pissed off. He just went through a hurricane that ran through his house, and he's not in the best of moods. So maybe they can pull this one off. The Controversial Inc. they wrestled the Crown in Ocala. In this case, if the Crown is successful, they'll wrestle Controversial Inc. for the CCW heavyweight titles in tag team titles in Bash of the Brew. You're making me explain so much logic, Ryan.
It's good,
I met the Crown in Kentucky and in Ohio, and when I saw them, I thought they were excellent. They look great. They have really great futures, big dudes, and let's see, But Elevated Status they're amazing. So,
yeah, big weekend for Jackal Stevens and Agony as well. We've got a tag match coming up tomorrow in Port St. Lucie. Then they're main eventing the show at Bash of the Brew.
Yeah, that casket match. They started training to be wrestlers together with Alex Ocean. They started American Horror Story. They were tag team. They were a tag team together. They were a stable together. Marina Tucker was briefly in American Horror Story. And Jackal was always like the little buddy of the group. Ocean was like kind of the star, the beauty. And then Agony was the muscle. And then Jackal was like their little brother, like the little weird guy, the wild card. The Charlie of Always Sunny was the Jackal. And now I feel like Jackal is kind of stepping out of the shadow of of Agony and of Alex Ocean. And it's a big step if he can topple that, but Agony's undefeated in casket matches. Agony put Alex Ocean in a casket and, basically sent him packing. And, that's a distinct possibility Saturday at Bash of the Brew.
Oof. Jackal Stevens had that Southeastern Championship for how long? Months and months.
Forever. Months and months. He's only three-time champion. Oh, Santos is a three-time champion. The only three-time champion in CCW, him and Santos. So,
wow. All right. Also tomorrow night, Gangrel versus Brian Brock.
Let's talk about it. What's over here?
Oh, we're getting a run in.
Getting the run in.
What's going on?
So, Mr. Gangrel here. What is your message for Brian Brock?
Well, what do you think my message is for Brian Brock?
Were you there the
last time that me and Brian Brock crossed paths?
Was it in Port St. Lucie?
Well, yes. I hope so. Yeah.
Yes.
That's why we have a match there. My message for Brian Brock is bring your wrestling boots. I'm in the mood to get put some work in. I'm looking forward to entertaining the great fans of Port St. Lucie with not only my fanging and banging and a little bit of the blood spray, but also kicking a little bit of ass too. So I'm looking forward to putting my boots to his ass or his head or his arm or his leg or whatever as I do the Malenko stomp and hit him for the Impaler DDT. Whatever it is, I'm just looking to have a whole lot of fun and get rowdy. I got a lot of family coming into town too. So if there's any more outside interference, I got a lot of cousins sitting up that way coming in from Port St. Lucie, Vero, and around the way. So it's going to be a good night of a lot of action, a lot of fun. So I hope the fans get out there. Hope everybody's doing good with the weather situation. That everybody, you probably covered that earlier. I walked in here a little late, but I want to send my some vibes and prayers out to the West Coast and out through Central Florida and so on as the storm continues and the flooding and damage and all the stuff going on there. So, but we're looking forward to it. Brian Brock, 1, 2, Gangrel's coming for you. I know you get tired of hearing that, but that's what's going to happen.
You got some comment coming in here. They just want you to kill him.
Yo, Brian. Yeah, well, I think she just had a birthday anyway, so
there you go.
Birthday's going to kill us all after a while. But yeah, I do want to kill. I don't know if I want to kill Brian Brock, but I do want to beat the hell out of him. And there's nothing wrong. Friday nights are for fighting and Saturday nights are for drinking, or vice versa, depending upon what you're doing on what night.
All
or
right.
for a little bit of both every night.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Oh, it is blowing me off now.
Just tell me get out of here.
No, I mean, if you got more.
Well, no,
I got a class to run anyways.
Dave is going to be he's going to have home field advantage Friday. You know, Brian Brock he's a big physical man. They've wrestled before, so this is going to be a pretty amazing show. I'm really excited about that. That'll be the main event tomorrow night, and I'm pretty sure we're going to have our biggest crowd in Port St. Lucie.
We have wrestled before, and it was like one of those things out of that, like Rocky and Apollo Creed. Nobody witnessed it. It wasn't for a lack of there was no fans there. It was just a weird situation where I faced him one-on-one, and I tell you what, it was 20 minutes of hell, but it was a good battle, and I'm not going to tell you who came out on better end of that, because I want you to show up and see who's going to come out on the better end of this one. I could tell you all day that I kicked his ass, but that's just me talking smack, you know. So I hope everybody comes out to Port St. Lucie. They're going to see a hell of a show, and I'm really looking forward to it. And it is hometown. I'm a South Florida guy, and I've traveled this coast up and down. I've done Fellsmere, Port St. Lucie, Vero, in and out. Well, you know, towns like Lake Worth, Wellington. I have made it across the coast, you know, over to Tampa and, you know, Kissimmee and all the towns that CCW's making. So I'm proud to be a part of this company. I'm proud every time I climb in the ring for CCW, and I'm looking forward to doing some battle with Brian Brock and whoever else shows up with them.
One more question, Dave, from Joseph Perry.
Yep.
What's up, Joseph Perry? Does Gangrel want to go back to there? What's that?
Want to get back at Ariel and S2S?
I don't think they want any of me. I think the two of them, no, they got away with a blessing that night. Probably 3 counting the referee. Although Amy did a hell of a job. You know, she was an MVP because I went back and watched the video footage of it. And, you know, I came in that locker room really hot at her for pulling that chair out of my hand. And because when I turned around, she didn't see that he had a pair of brass knucks, for lack of better words, but it was some kind of loaded object that he pulled out of his trunks there. And something tells me that's not the only thing he's pulled out of his trunks lately. But that's a whole other story. But I got your attention. Now you're looking, so I see what's going on there. But no, I don't think they want to get back at me. But if they want to step in the ring, I'm always looking to put that up. Yeah, I was disappointed, highly disappointed that I didn't leave with the CCW Heavyweight Championship around my waist.
I think we'll see that match. We'll see that match again. You know, maybe it'll be a tag team situation. You know, I want to see you and S2S. That might be something that could be an interesting match in the future as well.
I'll make sure I bring my interpreter with me. Because he was ringside and I didn't understand anything he was saying. I think Ariel was actually interpreting to me. He's telling you to shut up. I said, okay, thank you, cabrones. All right, I'm going to get out. It's great seeing him. Nelio, I got to go get a class. I'll see you there. Peace, everybody. See you at Port St. Lucie tomorrow. What is it, 7 p.m. bell or 8 p.m. bell?
8 p.m. bell, 7:30 pre-show. This show
right,
stats.
7:30 pre-show, 8 p.m. bell. Don't be late. I'm looking forward to you. Be there early and be on time because I got to catch a flight in the morning.
Yes.
So let's just do a little bit of fanging and banging together and let's get this show done. Take care, guys. Peace.
All right. Thanks.
So a little run in there. The Vampire Warrior Gangrel. It's a head trainer here at the CCW training facility. And then he's one of our most featured wrestlers, obviously, a legend. Just wanted to have him come in and speak on his own match a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, and so this is not the first time that they've been together. So this is going to be a really
no.
Yeah.
That fight I think happened at a bar somewhere in Immokalee. No, I'm just kidding. That's why not a lot of people saw it.
So okay, so we talked about I think most of the matches. Meadow versus Daisy Kill also tomorrow.
Yeah, that one's going to be interesting too. I love Daisy Kill. I think he's money. I think he has a huge future. He'll be with us. He's coming back down for an entire month of shows with us. He's got future heavyweight champion written all over him. I love Daisy Kill. But Meadow is Meadow. Meadow is a blue chipper as well, you know. So that's two guys with incredible futures who are just money, you know. I figure that one will be good. Meadow undefeated here in CCW, and Daisy, you know, his over 750 his win-loss record here. So it should be an interesting one.
So the match we have not talked about on the show yet that's coming up this weekend, Bill Alfonso versus Dan Lambert. No DQ.
Yes. Well, if you've ever watched Beulah versus Fonzie in ECW, after this is done, go and watch that. It's one of the best matches ever. this is something Fonzie demanded. He demanded over and over and over again. He wanted a piece of Lambert. You have Dan Lambert, who is like one of the most influential men in combat sports history. He obviously, a lot of people just know him from All Elite Wrestling, but he is a CEO. He's one of the founders of American Top Team. He can fight. He can fight. So I don't know what Fonzie's getting into. I don't know if maybe he has a trick up his sleeve. I don't know if I don't know. Maybe something will happen at Bash at the Brew. We'll see.
The no DQ.
I know I'm going to be glued. I'm going to be glued to the monitor. I think the whole locker room is going to be glued to the monitor in the back, and I'm a little bit afraid for Fonzie.
Dan is a longtime fan of all wrestling, and obviously he's got his hands right in MMA and everything. You think he's seen Beulah versus Fonzie?
I think he sees red. I think he hates Fonzie. Fonzie has about a 3-hour drive from the brewery, and the last 3 times, 4 times. Now that I think about it, if you add Ariel Levy, the last 4 times, it has been a bloody 4-hour drive to Tampa Bay. Bloody, bleeding profusely. If you saw, he took a chair, drop kicked the chair to the back of Fonzie's head and opened Fonzie up, and it was nasty. We needed an ambulance to stitch him up. So, I don't know. I don't want a fifth. I don't want a fifth drive for Fonzie being bloody.
He's probably ready for that to change as well. So,
Fonzie's so excited about Saturday. He's called me like 4 times. We were talking throughout the hurricane and stuff like that. He's so excited. Like he wants to destroy Dan Lambert. It's pretty wild. But it is what it is. Let's see what's going to happen.
All right. Final match that I have on my notes that we haven't talked about is Jay Vidal versus Cole Carter.
Yeah, All Elite Wrestling's Cole Carter. How stacked is the show?
Yeah, between the 2 nights, jeez.
It's like WrestleMania. It's like WrestleMania weekend here in South Florida. If you live in South Florida and you don't come to this show, you're insane. Like both of these shows, drive. Like it's what, 2 hours, 2.5, maybe 2.
It depends on how fast you drive.
Lucie to Hialeah, it's 2 hours. You drive it all the time. You drive it almost every month, Ryan. It's
exactly.
At least 2 hours, right?
It's 2 hours.
So you get there early. You have a cafecito. You go to this place. It's called Tropical Restaurant on Hialeah Drive. Or you can go to Calle It's fine too. It's if you want a cheap, delicious Cuban sandwich or a baby churrasco. There's a picture of a bear in the front. I always laugh because of the show The Bear. But this restaurant, Tropical Restaurant, has a picture of a bear. So people called it the Bear Restaurant. But point is, you can get there early. You have a cafecito. You eat a Cuban sandwich, pork, whatever. Head over to the brewery. You eat more smoked brisket. Yeah. You have like 10 beers and you watch the best wrestling. And then you designate someone to drive you home. That would be the best way to experience this. But Friday night, Port St. Lucie, be there. Saturday night, be there. These are 2 huge shows that just so happen. Like I think once every 3 years they'll fall like this. Like they'll align to do. I think this happened once before. Port St. Lucie the night before the Bash, and we bring it. We bring it every time.
Yeah, I was surprised to see both of these shows on the same weekend because they're 2 of the biggest shows in your circuit. I mean, Bash at the Brew every month is the biggest show, and Port St. Lucie's every other month, right?
Yeah, it's every other month. Like we're coming back December 17th.
Always a big crowd.
But the crowd is big. We have a big crowd in Port St. Lucie. They love everything. And you know what's crazy is this is the difference. Bash at the Brew, those guys are there every month, and they just know the only thing they know for the most part. I'm not saying anything out of line for the Bash crowd. They really only know the Bash stuff. So from Bash to Bash, I've had guys come. They're like, I've been to 18 out of 20 bashes.
That's pretty darn
good. I was like, oh, that's pretty good. It's better than most of my staff. But like, I've been to 18 out of 20 bashes or whatever. And I was like, oh, did you ever watch like a breakout? Like, I don't know what is breakout. Like, oh wow, okay. So like they watch every bash. But the St. Lucie guys, they watch St. Lucie, then they watch Bash, they watch the Breakout, then they watch whatever Chris Barrow's doing on his page, and then all that, and they all buy shirts from all the guys and stuff. So they're really, really like our core like audience that loves everything. A lot of them spend that time up there in the Treasure Coast. I mean, obviously, like I'm saying that generally speaking. Like we have some amazing fans that watch everything that we do, but the Treasure Coast fans, they they've seen it all.
Yep. Well, coming out
Also,
of this,
remember on Saturday, Bash of the Brew, Lucha Donuts, always delicious. There is an Tuesday nights as well. Lucha Donuts is amazing on Saturday nights. They're amazing. Tuesday nights at Bash, there's an alive watch party. And there's this pizza by Bella Rossi Pizza or something. It's amazing. So Tuesday nights, Bash of the Brew, Alive Wrestling at Unbranded Brewing Company in the watch room, and eat this awesome brick oven pizza. It's like it's like a fan meetup. Like we don't even advertise it, but like it's like a really cool fan meetup that sometimes some of the boys go to and drink 10 beers and embarrass themselves at our venues. But it's an awesome place to do. But Lucha Donuts is elite.
Well, coming out of this weekend, you got Saturday Night Slam the following weekend. Then you got another double shot with Conquer Kissimmee and then Breakout 17 on the same weekend as well.
We have some cool stuff going on over the next 3 weeks. It's going to be pretty wild, pretty insane, really just thinking about getting through this weekend. Homestead has become like an A show now with us. I never like to call things like A and B or whatever, but like when I walk out at Bash and we've had 600 and they're screaming and stuff like that. I know that doesn't sound like that crazy of a number, but they're all like completely invested. It's like 600 invested people who will there was a couple moments where, like when you have like 600 people that are all thinking of like the same thing and going in the same direction, like it can very easily feel like, I can start a revolution, like we're going to march on the city. So it's like one of those like really cool feelings. But then when we've had like the last 3 months in Homestead, really, really good crowd. And I see a lot of them driving from Miami to Homestead now. So that's really, really cool. And it's a different vibe when you go to Miami Brewing Company down in Homestead. It's a completely different vibe. There's a little bit of a cowboy vibe. It's a little bit different, but it's good. It's really, really, really good. So yeah, that's that's where we're going.
All right. Well, I think the main thing is both shows are on this weekend. Hurricane has moved out. It's now North Carolina and Virginia's problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
I have to say, there's always thought like if the hurricane was coming directly at us, and it's a really strange thing. It was like we had a hurricane. It was the day of a hurricane watch was one of the Bash of the Brews, and we had a smaller but still like around 400 people. It was smaller than our normal crowd, but still still pretty big. It did make me think, but then I also started to think like, I love moving on.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, I think like if someone's like, what's your superpower? It's like, well, I can wake up the next day and be like, okay, like time to make the Lucha Donuts. You know what I mean? It's just time to move. Like, so I also like that thought process that like we've all been thinking for the last week, like we've all been stressed out and we've been worried about this hurricane. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of events going on this weekend.
No.
So you know what? Let's let loose and let's move forward. And I think we can use these shows as a lightning rod to come and enjoy yourself. Port St. Lucie is a family. There's a lot of kids there, and it's a very big like family event. But you can still go and have 4 or 5 beers and yell your heart out and all that stuff. And Bash is Bash. Bash is like one of those things where like yes, it's an all ages show, but I've had people like, should I bring my 3-year-old? And I don't know. Like, do you want your 3-year-old to be in a crowd full of like a mob of screaming maniacs? I don't know. But that being said, let's go out, let's party, let's do this thing. And we had these 2 shows that happen to fall right next to each other, and I'm pretty damn excited about it.
And if they haven't got tickets yet, where can they get them?
Yes, PSL has air conditioning. The Mid Florida Event Center, air conditioning and free parking and all that good stuff. And Hialeah, we have these big exhaust fans. Yes, Hialeah, we have these big exhaust fans that when things make it when things move, like when the air moves in Hialeah, it's a lot better than when it doesn't, as you know.
Sure.
But we're happy too because we're getting in October, so it's not so hot in that place.
Yep. All right, so Coastal Championship Wrestling,
DC
FL.
Wrestling FL. Ryan, before you have us leave, like what are your thoughts? What have you been doing?
A lot. I've been interviewing a bunch of people.
That was the transition.
We have great episodes. We have great episodes coming up.
Great episodes of CCW Insider coming. We have Lucie Almeida, who's like my Joanna Rose from Evolve.
Great conversation with her I had, by the way. So
you meet someone like that, and she loves professional wrestling, and she's great at what she does. And then it's crazy. It's really crazy. Like, you think that doesn't exist in this world. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard, I'll tell you, there's a lot of like Instagram models that will reach out, that will want to do something with CCW. And most of my time, my first answer is like, yeah, sure. Like, what can we do? Whatever. But like, and I'm not saying Lucie's a Instagram model or anything like that, but like she loves wrestling. She comes here like when you're a talking head, like, this, Ryan, you have to know about wrestling. You need to know where you're going. You need to know where the competitors are going and all that type of good stuff. So she knows, and she's great, and she's awesome. And then I think you had the big man, right? You had the 7-footer.
We're rescheduling because he had some issues with the weather yesterday.
Oh, he's dead to me. Jack Talos, you're dead to me. Who else do we have coming up on CCW?
You have Nick Turner's coming up. We've got an episode with him.
The Cowboy Nick Turner, the Wrangler.
And next week, I'm going to be talking with Ozzy Killmeister for a future episode. So there's a bunch coming up.
It could be the CCW heavyweight champion at that point. You could be talking to CCW heavyweight champion Ozzy Killmeister. Like, you have Talos, who's coming up, who's actually a good dude. He's not dead to me. Very much alive. Good dude.
Yeah. So bunch of really great stuff coming up. I also do a daily show.
Minutes to bell time.
Yeah, the history of pro wrestling. Daily wrestling news show. Each and every day we have like a 5 to 10 minute short episode that says, here's something that happened in wrestling on this day. It's great.
Awesome.
And you know what? You can take one of your commutes the whole week.
Yes.
And you can listen to the whole week's worth of episodes.
And Ryan is good friends with CM Punk's attorneys. So he's getting the scoop from All Elite Wrestling directly from CM Punk's attorneys. So he's an insider, not just a CCW insider, but he's an insider. So he has that, I had to tell him to stop texting my corporate attorney at CCW, Mr. Daniel Rose. I said, Rose, if you ever talk to Ryan Joy again about insider stuff, you're dead to me, Rose. Check out Minutes of Bell Time, and then Daily History. Like, wrestling is cool. Like, wrestling's cool again, but wrestling used to be really cool, back in the territory days. We're trying to make it cool again. But like, name some of the cool things that you talked about on your daily. Putting you on the spot, Ryan. Like, say some of the cool. Like, what's your favorite moment in wrestling that you just recently covered?
Well, I can tell you today's episode was about the debut of Mr. Sacco. Mr. Sacco debuted on this day.
I thought you were going to say something from like 1978. I was thinking like Jim Crockett or something.
I'll go further back, even the 60s. Bruno Sammartino's title belt. His first world championship title belt was stolen out of his car.
Really?
He was at a restaurant. So so it's like kind of like the Holy Grail. It's never
was the mob found to be involved?
Nobody knows.
That sounds like a mob thing, right? Like the mob told Bruno, like, here, you're gonna get us this belt. We're gonna resell this belt. Okay, I'm not talking out of turn here. I don't have any insider information here, but I'm not talking out of turn. But the mob,
if you know anything about Bruno's belt, Ryan at
So what
Minister
happened
Belt-
is it's an easy scam. It's an insider scam. So what the mob was doing was they say, hey, say that you were eating at this restaurant, you lost a belt, right? Vince Sr. has to pay for a new belt. He's not getting mad at you. You're his big cash cow. And the mob sold it out on the other side. Now it's similar like an insurance. Like if they had the belt insured, you know what I mean? It happens. You know.
We also told the
who are you if
story-
you're Bruno Sammartino? You're one of the strongest men in the world. You're going to fight the mob?
Yeah.
I'm not saying this happened.
Put
I'm
that
just
one out.
I'm presupposing, you know.
Yeah,
we're talking about wrestling history here.
We also covered recently, you know, the photo that got really popularized earlier this year of Dusty Rhodes holding the WWF Championship. We talked about all the
old one, yeah.
that led to that. We've talked about Antonio or Giant Baba winning the NWA
that one,
Championship.
No, there's another one, right? What belt does he have? That's the NWA belt.
Where is he?
He's above Joey Styles.
Oh yeah, that's the NWA. That's 10 pounds of gold.
That's the 10 pounds of gold.
So we blast with that show, and we do it quick so that it's something.
What are some of the new? What are some of the newest ones?
New ones that are coming out soon.
No, I mean the most recent ones. Do you do any for ECW?
Ooh, we did. You know what? We covered Beulah versus Bill Alfonso recently. You know what we do is
I didn't hear Fonzie on. We should call Fonzie right now. Who's he? Fonzie was just texting me.
He's never been on CCW Insider. We probably need to rectify that too.
Why not?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Our schedule.
He'll be on. You know what we'll do? I got you. I was gonna say he'll be on Saturday before the show, but he'll probably be a little busy.
Yeah, he'll be
before the show.
He'll be.
We'll do it while he's getting bladed by Dan Lambert. Well, Lambert's gonna be like it's no disqualification. Dan Lambert, I mean, he could just literally take out a fork and just fork Fonzie's head on Saturday, and there's nothing that I or the referee can do about it except count the pin, or if Fonzie quits,
Yeah, absolutely.
Fonzie, I'm trying to think Fonzie's best moment. Fujinami Flair in Japan. That would be an interesting, thing to ask Fonzie about. Okay. He's told me how it was, and Flair knew that he was putting all the heat on Fonzie there, but Fonzie tells it much better.
Okay.
There's a story that no one can tell that I would love if it could be told on CCW Insider, but it involves Fonzie and Tommy Rich and renting Cadillacs. But I think it's still I think it's like a federal crime still. I don't know. It's like from the 80s. But renting Cadillacs and wrestlers and Tommy Rich and Fonzie. I'd love to be able to that story to be heard, but
we'll air that. We should record it now and air it 40 years from now.
Yeah, exactly. We'll put it. Yeah, schedule it on CCW Insider from like 2062.
Yeah,
and I'm sure I'll still be alive. What do you think about putting our thoughts and our sentience into like machines in the future? Do you watch Black Mirror?
I've never watched Black Mirror, but I can tell you.
Like like Elon Musk was literally talking about it, like the Neuralink, the tentacles he's going to put in our brains.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Like, so you take these like a Neuralink that's going to link us to computers. So like my consciousness, my not consciousness, my mind will live inside this computer. Like, but is my mind my soul, or is it just a copy of my mind?
It feels like a copy, unless it can,
right?
Evolve after it gets in the computer. Unless it can continue to learn.
Isn't it the same thing? Anyway, the point is, Friday, Destiny awaits Port St. Lucie. You better be there. You better drive. If your only excuse is if you're in the path of that hurricane, then please do what you need to be done. But if not, you're missing an incredible show. Friday, and then Saturday, Bash of the Brew 21. Expect a bunch of surprises for Saturday.
Nice. All right. Well, with that said, Until next time.
Look up the Neuralink. Look up Elon Musk. It's pretty crazy. Not just you, Ryan, but folks at home.
Everybody.
And like, think about how that's going to affect. Like, can you imagine? Like, you can experience like so. The Neuralink will allow you to experience memories that I've had. But
That's
like
bizarre.
to like exist. No, but like you're going to be able to experience memories that I've had. Like, but through you, like you will experience it, and it'll feel as though you're the same exact thing. Like it will change. It will change reality as we know it.
So if Mick Foley hooks up, I can get thrown off the cage?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Including, and think about this, because it's your brain and your pain receptors, including everything involved in that, including the pain. Like you'll feel the pain, but you won't die.
Maybe
so there's a whole like bag of worms that could be opened up as well. Like you imagine like torturing prisoners. Like you can feel the pain of being tortured, but you won't die. I don't know how that would work, but
it's
so like everything that you can think positively about, like of course, like wouldn't you want to be, I don't know, Tommy Lee in the late 90s, right? This was an amazing experience, right? Like
it's like a mashup between
play drums
and like Harry Potter and the bowl there he goes into. It's
yeah.
Like a mashup between those two things.
Like, and I think Elon's not. I know we're getting off.
We're totally off, but that's
Elon is saying within the next like 30 years that you'd be able to experience other people's memories. That's within our lifetime.
That is within our. That's crazy. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, it's really nuts. So like the thought is like, if this exists and you take Ric Flair's brain and Ric Flair's brain gets uploaded into the Neuralink, I would be able to experience all of Ric Flair's conscious living and potentially choose what I wanted to live, like cherry pick the good parts. And then what would stop us from not like taking the best moments that have ever existed and replaying them as almost like a greatest hits in our mind forever? But then here's the other thing. Then like, what else would we do with our lives?
So and then the other thing is like your memory has filtering, right? Like typically we remember the good parts and we don't remember the bad parts.
Well, I'm sure that's like I don't even know.
That's a whole.
I'm sure there's a neurosurgeon listening at home who might be able to clarify how would that be experienced, but
we'll have him on the show.
I would love to. I love how all the comments stopped when we started talking about that.
But the people haven't stopped watching.
Existential. Well, there's just existential crisis. All the comments stopped. They're like, book Davey Richards, and I'm like, imagine if you can live the brains of like other people. And they're like, no more. Oh, Joseph Perry knows where the WWE title is buried.
Does he? What is it in here in the comments?
He said it's in Howard Beach.
Howard Beach. No.
Now, if Bruno had lived long enough, we would be able to go back in the memory banks and see what the mob said to him to convince him to say that he lost the title outside that.
I'm going to need to re-record that episode now that I have this new information. No.
Oh, no. Rich is in the ring. That's great. It's Rich Wise in the ring. Look, it is. Oh. That guy is over your left shoulder.
Okay.
Anyway, guys, Friday, Port St. Lucie. I know it got a little weird talking about the Neuralink, but look it up. I'm not crazy. This is literally things that could happen within our lifetime. It's interesting to think about.
Yeah.
Don't everyone stop selling your Bitcoin, guys, please. And go to Port St. Lucie. Destiny awaits Friday. Bash of the Brew, ccwrestlingfl.com. This one's been a fun one.
Absolutely. You have been watching CCW Insider, produced by Minutes to Bell Time in association